Hello everyone and welcome back to another AFK journey video. In this video we're going to be going through the guild duel formations that I am going to be running, as well as some mid-level formations as well. Now, as you guys know, there are only 3 members who are going to be participating in the guild duel. They can be appointed by your leaders, but usually they are going to be the highest power players. So we're going to go ahead and begin by showing you the mid-level of formations and also talk a little bit about some different replacements you can run. So the mid team 1 is going to be a Gwyneth team, which you should definitely be running. Gwyneth with light bearers. Also, it is quite free to play friendly to run a team like this. Now, the whole idea is, if you have Gunner built even to Supreme Plus, you should be using him. He's a really good ally for Gwyneth. And Alicent, even as Supreme Plus, is worth using because she's, again, a great ally for the Gwyneth to allow her to hit harder and have that additional life. With the Vanguard spell, it really is a really good option for the Gunner version of this team. Siren, a lot of people have Paragon upgraded. You should be running him. And then Evie. Evie is a hero you may not have Paragon upgraded. However, she does provide nice buffs to Gwyneth and also that healing. You don't have to use Evie, for example, like, even if you did want to use a hero like Hugin, you can consider it. However, it becomes awkward. Really, the problem with using Hugin in this team is if you want to have your Gunner frontmost and your Gwyneth rearmost, Hugin can't even get off his charms or his mechanized bond onto anyone, because then they're going to steal the buffs away from your rearmost from the Lightbearer Phantomal, right? So that is just a little bit of the problematic thing for Lightbearer Phantomal. However, if you don't have Gunner, for example, and you want to run a Hugin team, then by all means, you can definitely run a team like this. In which case, though, I would definitely switch to the Wingguard spell. If you're going to run Hugin and not Gunner, basically, your Gwyneth is not steadfast then. Then it's more important you have the Wingguard spell to provide steadfast as artifact, basically immuning to the crowd control and allowing your Gwyneth to be firing early on into the match. So, and that is why Gwyneth, I think, really important. Wingguard spell if you're not running it with Gunner. Now, if you're running a team comp like this, then it will probably be good to run Callan as a final hero, just as, some more protection for the entire team, because you're lacking the Gunner, right? Invincibility, so you will want to have more protection, like from a Callan, which can be a good option, and this can overall be a solid team. This is basically Gwyneth in a nutshell. She's good with Gunner. She can work with Hugin instead of Gunner, but then probably Callan and Wingguard spell is what you would want to run. Go for the 3 Lightbearers. Get the Lightbearer Phantomal. It's really strong onto Gwyneth. And if you have Alicent, you can run her. If you don't have Alicent, you can literally replace it for any other support hero you have. It can be anything that you have Paragon upgrade that you're not running that can provide a bit of buffing value or healing protection for the Gwyneth. Okay, moving on to Team 2. Team 2 is going to be the standard Freerin Wilder comp with Himmel. Himmel will work at Supreme Plus, but the others should be Paragon upgraded ideally. Theodore boosting Celise and Freerin in the back. Ragon buffing both of them with the Wingguard spell. This is a really good team. It has great protection. However, if you're running Wingguard on Team 1, like if you're running it with the Callan and no Gunner version, you can replace for a different artifact. I think that Breakthrough spell is a really good option for this team as well, giving you more energy regeneration, but Wingguard is probably better if you have it available. Moving on to Team 3. Now, Team 3 is weird. Number one, this map is very, very weird. The layout is just really awkward, and then also you have these instant energy buffing tiles, right? So there are a couple of ways you can try to deal with this. And I personally don't think running Lily May is going to be the best option here, because you have 2 different tiles. So if the enemy is going for ultimate related comps and you run Lily May, you're only going to get one of them. The other one is going to go off. And that is not basically good enough. So one way to deal with this is you just go for, you just try to survive that initial onslaught of ultimates, which we should be able to do here. We have Damon, we have Callan shielding, protecting everyone. We have Bonnie immediately ultimating. And all we want to do with this comp is we just want to survive for 5 to 7, 8 seconds, have Citrana's debuffs onto all enemies and Bonnie's debuffs spread onto all enemies. If we can get that to happen, you're going to have a really high win chance, because then Zorya is just going to come down, land the finishing blows, and clean up the enemies, and the damage is just going to be ticking on them over time. Also, because this is an instant energy alting map, they're going to go for a glass cannon type comp, instant killing type comp, and if you can just damage them, deal that damage over time, they're just all gonna wither away. They're not gonna have, like, usually they're not gonna run a Stallish type comp in a map like this, but they could. I don't know. But anyway, this team can also somewhat deal with Stall with the Citrana Vitality debuffs and Surging Spell damage, huge damage nukes. So that's what we're doing here. Now, if you don't have Zoria, then you will have to run Igor. You need to run a Staller in this comp. Igor is much more worrying running Igor here, because if he just gets blown up by the instant ultimates of the enemies, then that's going to be a problem for you. And that's why Zoria is basically guaranteed you're going to be taking the damage over time, and then here you're just protecting everyone to make sure they get off their debuffs and spread as much as they can before they go down, and that's basically your game plan. But yeah, this is the mid team. I think that running a Bonnie damage over time team for your third team is going to be the best option. These three archetypes, Gwyneth, Frieren, and Dot, these are budget friendly, but also they're pretty solid. They're all tier 2 to tier 1 basically PvP teams. But running like a Pandora comp here, no, I would not recommend that, because this is the ultimate map. People could easily run their Dunlinger here if they have Dunlinger, as you guys are going to see my pay-to-win teams. And so Dot does decently into everything, and that's why I think it's pretty decent here. Okay, so we'll move on to the pay-to-win teams. So for the pay-to-win teams, they are quite pay-to-win, but we'll talk again about some replacements. So team 1 is going to be our Sylphira team. I'm getting buffed up by the Phantomol, protected by Ulna, another life from Hepler, Mahira crowd control, and we're running with the frontline spell, because this is basically, it would be a shame not to run this artifact with this team. A melee hyper carry team does really well with the frontline spell, assuming you have at least 3 heroes which are entering enemy territory, and here we have potentially 5 heroes entering enemy territory. So yeah, this is going to be a solid team. It is just the standard Ulnar Sylphira combo. If you don't have Hepler, don't worry. Like, you can replace things here. You can go for Gerda. You know, she's going to provide that healing hot spring. That's going to help another melee hero. You can go for a hero like Pang. Going to give that shielding and unaffected when the ally rises up. You can go for a hero like Sleaze. Basically, you have a lot of options. It's just about providing that supportive role to the team, either giving the Sylphira more survival or increasing your healing, your damage somehow. That's basically it. Okay, moving on to Team 2. Team 2 is going to be the Saida Contest team. This is, unfortunately, the maps are very awkward again. This is the problem. However, I was somewhat able to come up with a good positioning right here. So what we have is, we wanted the Phantomol buffing up Saida. That's important. We wanted Alicet on the Contest, so that Contest has that initial additional survivability. Apart from all of this, I also wanted to have both sighting contest on the Trins Bond, and also we're running Wingard Spell for that initial 10 seconds protection. They're not going to defeat you, and that's going to give Saida time to begin cycling her ultimates. Now, Eevee is not in an ideal spot. However, there's nowhere else to put her. I would have liked to put her here, but then she's eating the Phantomol buff. We can't do that. So I'm putting her here, and you know, it may not lock on to anyone, but it is, I think she's guaranteed to lock on to something. Normally that's what I've seen from Eevee. Anyway, even if she doesn't lock on, we're going to be cycling ultimates rapidly. Twins, Saida, Contest eventually, Energy, all of this stuff. You're going to be cycling ultimates, and that's going to allow Eevee to continue her investigation. And the whole fight, she's going to be providing healing and buffs with her Quill, right? That's the whole point, really, of Eevee and this team, is just for that stall factor. Okay, now moving on to Team 3. Now, this is very important. If you have Dunlinger, you want to use Dunlinger on Team 3. Because of the 2 instant ultimating tiles. This is the best value you're ever going to get from Dunlinger. Now, you can run Dunlinger with damage over time, Bonnie damage over time. Some people run that in like the mid set of teams. You could run that, and you know, rather than running like Callan or something in that team, run Dunlinger and block out the enemy ultimates. That's totally fine. However, really, when you talk about the top tier PvP meta, this is going to be the comp you want to run. Gunnar Gwyneth is going to be shredding the opponent, and Dunlinger is going to be blocking their ultimate. So basically, the opponent has nothing they can do. They're just going to be completely stuck. If they're depending on ultimates, Dunlinger is blocking them. Gwyneth doesn't care about ultimates, so she's just going to be firing off, nuking everything. Kulu also range defense buff for our whole team, which is useful because we're going to be putting up the Kulu wall. And then we also have free run with that immediate instant ultimate. So if for whatever reason the enemy doesn't run like a Dunlinger here, which they probably would as a pay to win player, but if they don't, free run is going to come out and begin bursting from the first second. And she's buffed up by the Phantom. Like, I mean, the positioning is awkward. Obviously, I would want to have the Phantom buffing up Gwyneth, but you can't allow that. That cannot happen on this map. And overall, this is still effective enough. Vanguard spell just for the healing for the gunner and to boost Gwyneth's damage. Freeran, you might think, looks so strange in this comp, but the reason Freeran is here is not even for her own damage. It's for a defensive magic to make your gunner even tankier. Basically, this gunner is going to be the invincible gunner. And then he also has energy that if Dunlinger's bell wears off, he's able to get off an ultimate. But probably it won't even come to that. Probably the match will be over by then. So that is what basically the plan was for this team comp. Definitely the core of it is Dunlinger, Gunner, Gwyneth. Kulu is great, but you can run Alicent here if you're not running Alicent on team 1. Or sorry, on team 2 with the Saida contest. Because Alicent doesn't have to be here, by the way. She's just giving a bit more life and survival to the contest. But you can run any other hero which provides some survival, some utility. Even it can be a hero like Peggy. For example, it can be a hero like Peggy. It is not even terrible. But yeah, if you want to run Alicent with Gwyneth, you can feel free to do that, like if you don't have a Kulu. However, basically the core here is Gunner, Gwyneth, Dunlinger, and then one more Celestial Hypogean. Freeran doesn't have to be here, but might as well run her because she's just going to give defensive magic to Gunner. And that is basically it, guys. So that is the mid team, the pay to win dual teams, and some different alternative replacements you can consider. Hopefully it works out well for you guys. And yeah, I mean, this is of course going to be a pay to win mode because only 3 members are competing. Your top 3 whales or krakens of your guilds. And so yeah, but anyway, at least maybe this video can be interesting to give you some idea of team comps that you can run in your different PvP game modes, and also just like, you know, to check in on what the meta is looking like. So anyway, guys, we'll update you. Hopefully we will get wins with this, and if there are any other changes to the teams or any other teams I see performing well, definitely I will make some updated videos in the future. So thank you guys all so much for watching. That is going to be it for this video. And if you're thinking about making a purchase in AFK Journey, please use my affiliate link for the official Farlight store. This is the best way you can support me and also gain 5% bonus dragon crystals on your purchase. My affiliate link is in the description of this video and a pinned comment, and you can actually bookmark this link in your browser, and whenever you're planning to make a purchase, just return to the bookmark link and make your purchase. It will support me and be greatly appreciated. So thanks for watching. I'll hopefully see you in the next video, and until then, everyone, peace out for now.